Back again where it begins, buddies. Hey, it's Concert Buddy. Winding up 2023, winding up these last few videos of the year. This is probably the last video for 2023 for me in a non-podcast variety. And I think maybe I saved the best for last. You can be the judge of that at the end of this video. I'm sharing here my top 10 finds. The coolest, the hottest, the most unique records I picked up over the course of 2023. I'm going to be probably a little biased. It's some pretty cool shit. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah.
Put on your brown pants. Give you a little room. It may get a little stiff in the seat, stiff in the front, if you know what I'm saying. Cue that lever, and let's just get into all the fire wax I picked up in 2023. Hoo-ah! Buddies, we've climbed to the top of the mountain. We have reached the summit. The last video for 2023. Non-podcast variety. There's still a lot of moving around on the channel, I gotta be honest. And that is the one I've been really eager, anxious, excited to share with you. And that was my top 10 finds of 2023 of the used variety. Now, again, a lot of these records are kind of in boxes, different parts of my home. I'm not going to really do the show and tell piece. I'm going to use some graphic mastery, some sorcery to kind of amplify the presentation. But I hope you'll go with me and take this journey with me, because I got some really cool shit. I'm going to be honest with you. This is one of the more exciting years I can recall. I think it was even better than last year. I got some cool stuff last year. I think every year I get cool stuff. But this year, for some reason, I really feel I hit some real home runs. So let's get into it.
Well, gentlemen, in this life, there are people that want things and there are people that have things.
First album I'm going to talk about in this Killer Finds 2023 is an album I only picked up just a few months ago, just through happenstance. I happened to be in Austin for the Austin Record Convention, and I think it was that Thursday. It was before I was going to go pick up Jose at the bus station. Jose Moreno Ron, friends of the channel may know. And I was just kind of going through, and Amoeba, as they're prone to do, Amoeba Records, based in LA, Berkeley, San Francisco. If you follow them online, you really should, because on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they do some used drops. And I just happened to be perusing it, and they had this album that I knew the artist, but I didn't know the album. And the artist is Henry Pierre Noel. I'd learned about him. He's from Haiti, but he immigrated to Canada, kind of a jazz, funk, soul kind of artist. And I had heard about his first album, Piano. It was actually part of a TED Talk, believe it or not, about record collecting. Check that out. It's actually a pretty cool talk. So I'd heard of him. Piano is a very hard to come by record. I think it's like a $500 record. It's one I don't have in my collection yet.
Pardon my French, but you're an asshole.
This was his follow-up album, One More Step, and this is a little bit more affordable. This is about a $100 record. Amoeba had it. It was sealed, and I'm always nervous about getting sealed records, because depending on how it was stored over time, you may have a storage warp, it may bend in the middle. So I kind of took a leap of faith on this one. And, knowing Amoeba as I do, and I bought probably hundreds of records from them online and in their stores and vacations and trips and so forth, I had a good warm and fuzzy about this. And I'm so glad I did. I used my little trusty Amoeba coupon code I kind of keep on the sneak. Help me save. Plus, it's free shipping. I mean, it's a home run across the board. So this was kind of a flyer based on all of those variables I just shared with you, something I'd never listened to before. Bought it, and man, this is a smoke show. Great sounding, like just up-tempo, really cool music, funky as hell. Really worth the time. If you can pick it up on streamers, which I'm not sure if it is available on streamers. I think it may be. Surely it's got to be on YouTube. But it's Henry Pierre Noel, One More Step. Killer stuff.
Guess what? Yeah. Look into the video scope right now.
Another killer album that I picked up, September? Not too long ago. Kind of by happenstance. I was on vacation, Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. It's usually not part of my regular record routine. We vacation, or we try to at least once a year. Just kind of happened to be Googling and seeing if there's any kind of record stores that had popped up. Because usually when we travel there, The nearest record stores were either Monster Music in Charleston, South Carolina, it's a couple hours away, or if you go a little bit southwest, or I guess southeast, I'm not sure, Augusta has, or sometimes Augusta, Savannah, Georgia, has Grayface Records, and they've got a little bit more potential to find vinyl in their area. But I was pleasantly surprised to see that Hilton Head Island had a new record store, Mojo's Island Records. I talked about it this year in one of my record store road trip videos. You should definitely check that out. I'll put some cards here. Anyway, great curated store, a lot of cool stuff. Like a lot of stores, it was one that had been started from the owner's collection, and so you could tell there's a lot of cool shit in there. And I picked up something that I actually passed on just a couple weeks prior in Austin, and that was De La Soul's classic album, 3 Feet High and Rising, original pressing. I think this is a promo, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have it in front of me because it's downstairs. But man, this record goes for fat stacks, like serious cash. And when I saw it in Austin, like it was priced right where it should be. I think it was going for like between $200 and $300. Forget the exact total. But the guy that had it, he had some killer hip hop stuff. I picked up an LL Cool J record from him. I mean, this was one of the best hip hop vendors I'd seen at any convention. Like, he was a DJ. He clearly knew his shit. But I passed. And it's one of those things where you have vinyl regrets. You're like, man, maybe I should have got it because I had never seen one in the wild before. Well, the vinyl gods smiled upon me, not only having a record store in my vacation area of Hilton Head Island, but also having this album, promo copy, white label promo, matter of fact, now I remember. Killer. And I got it for considerably less than I would have paid in Austin. So big win all across the board. This is one of those hip hop albums that every hip hop enthusiast should have. They just recently did a reissue. They finally got all the licensing and the sample work and the kind of conflict between the band and the label. They got all that worked out, and they released 3 or 4 different color variants of this album in the past year. I didn't get any of those because I was kind of holding out. I already had the Vinyl Me Please reissue, which was great. It's like this clear kind of color splatter vinyl. But to get an OG, a white label promo, one of the scores of 2023.
Yeah!
So talking about the Austin Record Show, great time, great fellowship, meeting a lot of vinyl community enthusiasts, members, video makers, participants, etc. So fun. But one thing that was really fun about going to that record show, which is, I think this is the 3rd straight year I went, was I found a vendor, and I kind of talk about it in our live stream recap. One vendor caught him slipping. Hopefully he doesn't watch this and have anxiety. But this guy had a original Blue Note of Art Blakey and the Jazz Messenger, self-titled. This is the one that has Moanin' on it. And the record, probably a VG record, but these old, particularly old jazz records, these things play like champs. And these things are linebackers. These things are tough, rough and tough. And yeah, there's a little popcorn in there here and there, but I mean, this record goes for hundreds of dollars. But here's the irony. I didn't pay anywhere near that. Crazy. Paid less than $20 between this and another one. Got them kind of bundled together. Score. Like probably from a cost value proposition, probably the score of the year. And I think this guy knew it because there's only like a label, like a $2 price tag or something ridiculous on it. So when I took him to him and asked him to bundle, I was like, it was really $2. I could see the white expression of the oh shit. It's the reverse oh shit. Like if you're digging through the bins and you see something and you're like, oh, you never see it, oh shit. That's from the collector end. From the dealer end, the oh shit is, oh shit, I didn't price these and somebody caught me.
Shit.
To his credit, he could have totally taken them and be like, oh, I didn't label these, my bad, so sorry. But we worked out a fair price. Like I said, I think I paid like $32 or something. I think it's like $18 a piece. I forget exactly, but less than $20 a piece. And man, oh man, this is so exciting. This is something that I'd never seen. I might have saw it once. I take that back. I probably saw it once in a while, but again, at that aforementioned $100 price point. So to get it for less than $20, whew, daddy. Score City, loved it.
It's been a pleasure frequenting your establishment.
Next record I picked up is one that I don't see that often, and I honestly never saw it in a while up until this point, and that is the self-titled album from Badlands. Now, if you're unfamiliar, you need a refresher. Badlands was like a rock band that essentially featured Jake E. Lee. He had been a former Ozzy Osbourne guitar player on lead guitar, and like a lot of bands at that time, late 80s, early 90s, a lot of combustible elements. I think they only put like 3 or 4 albums out together, and I think of the 4, like the band was like halved. There's only like 2 dudes left from album 1 to album 3 and 4. But anyway, this album is very hard to find. I don't think it's ever been officially reissued. I know there's bootlegs out there. I've seen those. But good friends of the channel, Matt and Brian over at Gold Pan Records, had a copy, hooked it up, bebop boobop through the telephone device, and asked them to hold it for me, and they did. Man, this thing is gem mint, not mint. I mean, just gem. Like it's hard to call used records mint for me. I know some people like to do it, no judgment, but as good and as clean and as crisp as you can have for a used record. This Badlands self-titled was a jammer. So happy I picked it up this year.
What are you looking at, butthead?
So in a previous video, I talked about the Hanson record, Middle of Nowhere. You probably got some laughs. You probably unsubscribed. If you unsubscribed, you came back, so thank you for doing that. So I've got an album that may be just as divisive, and that's from John Mayer, who I think is one of the best guitar players out there right now. And that was his second album. I'm pretty sure second album is called Heavier Things. An album that's being reissued several times on vinyl. Not hard to find the reissue. It's like $20 or $30 reissue. No big deal. But what I've been looking for was an OG. And not easy to find. These things go for north of 100 easy all day, every day. So a little tip, and this is something I've tried to share in previous live streams, podcasts, whatever. It's always good if you're going to go put your feet in the murky bathwater that is eBay. Know what you're looking for. And here's what I mean by that. I knew I was looking for an OG. You can put John Mayer, Heavier Things. There's tons of listings. There's tons of people trying to sell this record. What you can bring to the table, especially when you have an OG versus a reissue situation, is sometimes the barcodes are different. Sometimes there's differences that a novice seller may not know. And that's what happened on this record, because I knew that the original had a different barcode than the reissue, and a lot of pictures. When people take a lot of pictures, which always is very helpful, I saw a barcode. I was able to check the numbers, so Discogs, bebop, boobop. And wouldn't you know, I found a seller that had it for $25, sealed, original. Man, I couldn't buy this thing fast enough. And again, talked about my hesitancy in buying dead stock sealed records as they get warped, or sometimes they're not as new as you think. Sometimes there's sleeve burn on them, etc., etc., etc. This one had a little sleeve burn, but to get a sealed OG of this John Mayer Heavier Things record, $25, I mean, pinch me. This is what puts the fun in record collecting. Not only you're getting music you want to connect with and keep in your collection and an original, and it has all those kind of like little subtle nuances that makes record collecting fun, but the fact that you did your homework, you knew what to look for. And listen, I'm not gonna lie, it is a little fun to catch people slipping.
You dick!
To know that you did your due diligence and it paid off handsomely, in the sense of, hey, I just saved. If I really wanted this record, I probably could have went on Discogs and got it for $125. End of story. Send it to me. But the fact I got it for $25, saved $100, big win. 2023.
Shut up, I'm talking.
All right, so the next record I'm going to talk about very briefly, because again, I don't want to get the popcorn thrown at me. I don't want people to laugh at me too much. But a record that's been really hard for me to find, believe it or not, is I'm going to laugh just saying, Color Me Badd. You remember those guys? They were kind of like a 4-piece, like soul, kind of like doo-wop, kind of, New Jack Swing, a little touch in there, kind of band, late 80s, early 90s. And their album CMB, which means Color Me Badd. Spoiler alert, sorry to break it to you. This has been really one of the harder records for me to track down over the years. I've had it in my Discogs want list for years. I think rarely pops up on eBay, and if it does, it's like a European pressing, which I wasn't really interested in. Anyway, finally, was able to find one. You know, sometimes I've seen it on Discogs and they've had a goofy price on it, and I've let it sit. Like, I'll let it marinate overnight. I'll see it and I'll be like, I just can't pay X. If it's there in the morning, I'll think about it. And 9 times out of 10, it's not there, and it's the universe's way of saying move on. So this one, I think I paid maybe like $55 for. Not terrible. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous and embarrassing to admit this to the internet and anyone watching this video. I paid $55 for a Color Me Badd record, but I'd never seen one in person. Even in my usual honey hole in town, it's like one of the things I always would look for. It's like, maybe they found one. Nope. So finally, to add Color Me Badd to the collection, as goofy as it sounds, was a big win in 2023.
Oh, my sweet Jesus.
All right, final 5. Kind of go kind of quick because I know this video is dragging on a little bit long. But first record I actually got 2 copies of. The backstory is, so it's Nirvana MTV Unplugged. It's an original pressing. It's not the colored pressing, it's just a black pressing. I got a heads up from a man on the ground, Felipe, Jazz Bum Felipe, who saw one in one of his local shops. He did the due diligence for me and put me in contact with the shop. I ordered it, came to me, etc. Well, actually, I think Felipe ran middle on this. I think I did the payment through the shop, and then Felipe took it. And was such a great guy. Mailed it to me, and I got it. And it sounds good. Happy to add it. But I found a better copy. This is the new part. This is not even new. It's just the next level of record collecting, I guess, for me and maybe you and some others. Looking for top copy. I think it's going to be one of my themes in 2024, looking for top copy. So my local record show, this guy Chuck, Summerbuck Chuck. I don't think he watches YouTube. If you do, Chuck, you know who you are. He had a couple of 90s OGs. He had Pearl Jam 10, which I already have a couple copies of. And he had this one, and this one was Stone Cold Stunner. Crisp, clean, sleeve is beautiful. And I just had to get it. So now I've got an embarrassment of riches.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
I've got 2 of these albums. I'll probably offload one, depending on what I can get for it. But now, same year, I added, and this record had been on my want list for, almost 10 years. Crazy. And the fact that I got 2 of them in the same year, crazy. Amazing pickup for 2023.
But I like to show the folks what the good old American dollar can do for you.
So I'm going to go through this next one pretty quick because it's a sad story, and I've talked about it on live streams. I think I even posted a picture on my social media, Instagram at ConcertBuddy, Buddie. If you don't know, now you know. So I'm rounding out my original Pantera album collection. The one that escaped me, and the last one I needed was an album called I Am the Night. Found a guy on Discogs who claimed with a capital C, that he had an original that had not seen the light of day in years. So it piqued my interest. And I paid about going rate for this album, and so I was anxious when he sent it to me. And this was a lesson learned in making sure you do your due diligence, because it was the record. It came in great shape, exactly what he said. Even the jacket, the outer sleeve was crisp. Where it went sideways was he used one of those cotton picking, terrible U-line mailers with no padding, no insulation, and it got a wicked corner ding that didn't bring a tear to my eye, but man, it really chapped my ass because this thing was like a gem, like a one of one. Like I've never seen one this clean, this crisp. It's delightful. And to have it arrive and you open it up, and I saw the box, that ugly, tiny U-line box with the corner ding already on it. I just knew, and I opened it up, and the sad face took me over. Man, what is disappointment. So on one hand, I'm glad I added the record. I'm glad I've completed the Pantera original OG record collection. Man, this could have been so much more. This could have been one of the signature items of my collection, and damn U-line mailers. Sucks.
I'm not licking any white dog shit.
I'll let the dog shit if you leave us alone.
So another record I picked up, and this is kind of a new thing I've been doing in the last year or two, is I've been following a lot of record shops on Instagram. And I was following this one called Preserving Record Shop. It's in Pennsylvania. They're kind of like a punk kind of style. I think they have like a concert venue too where they perform live music. I've never been there, but this is just all my kind of learnings from following them on Instagram. I don't even remember how I got connected with them, to be honest with you. But they had one of the ones I've been looking for a long time, and that's Rage Against the Machine, The Battle of Los Angeles. This album, it's been reissued a couple times. Music on Vinyl did it. I think there's been maybe 2 or 3 reissues, but I'm looking for the OG, folks. You know me, I'm looking for that OG. And OGs are out there. They're on Discogs. But the piece that's missing usually in this to get the complete is it came with a slip mat. They're saying, oh, isn't it about the music? Yes. But if you're collecting the piece and you're collecting the record, you want to have it complete, right? So finding one with a slip mat has been beyond hard, like crazy hard, like harder than you would think. I've only seen it pop up on eBay once or twice with the slip mat. And they want like Monopoly money, like $300 or something stupid. So that's not going to happen.
It's just absolutely awful.
Let's go back to Preserving Record Shop, Pennsylvania. They had one in their flip video. I reached out to them. The communication was very lagging, I'll be honest with you. But we worked out a deal when they finally got back to me. And it was kind of a leap of faith because I sent them, money through third party. And, I gotta be honest, anytime I do that, you just hope for the best. And fortunately, this one worked out. I mean, I think he ultimately sent me a tracking number, but I think it was almost right before it arrived. I think he sent it to me like on a Tuesday and the record arrived on a Wednesday kind of thing. But anyway, super pumped because now I have OGs of self-titled, Evil Empire, Battle of Los Angeles, like pumped, like really great score here in 2023, especially with the slip mat. As stupid as that sounds, getting it complete with slip mat in shrink, A+.
Yeah!
All right, last 2 records. You with me? You still there, buddies? If you made it this far, you've only got a little bit more to go. You know what movie that's from? Tell me in the comments below. So one record, an OG I've been looking for a while, and this one has escaped me longer than I thought it would take me, and that is the first record from NWA. Dre, Cube, MC Ren, Eazy-E, Yella. And it's not Straight Outta Compton. It's not that album, or it's not 10,000 Miles of Running. It's not those albums. It's actually an album called self-titled NWA and the Posse. Who knew? But this was their first release on Ruthless Records. If you know the story, maybe you've seen the Straight Outta Compton biopic. Eazy started Ruthless. Jerry Heller was the guy backing it. Blah, 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 blah. But this record, I've never seen it in a while. I found it at 12-inch once when I was at Lunchbox Records in Charlotte. I thought it was as close as I'm probably going to get to it for some while because the record continues. It's one of those records that by the time I figured out I wanted it, kept climbing in price, kind of like the Price is Right game, the Yodeler guy.
The price is wrong, bitch.
Of all things, one of my locals actually had it on Discogs, Euclid Records. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, snap, there's that record. It's at a fair price, and it's local, so that means I could save on shipping and go pick it up. So I was really excited that I was able to get this because this record, it's been on my want list for 5, 6, 7 years. And to be able to check that box, aces.
And if you've never been called a stooge before, I take pride in calling a stooge, you stooge. Yeah!
And we've done it. Last record I'm going to talk about for this video of my top finds of 2023, top 10-ish. It's a record I just picked up here in the last couple weeks. And I got to give credit where credit's due. First of all, Steve Carlson, the mayor of the vinyl community. This goes out to you. One, thank you for the VCLT sent my way. Super appreciative of that. I probably should have done a formal VCLT video, but I'm very, the older I'm getting, I'm more private about like who I'm giving things to and who's sending me things. But Steve, it's not lost on me that you sent me a terrific record. So thank you for that VCLT. But more importantly, perhaps, is what you did in one of your recent videos. Now, Steve puts out videos on Thursdays and Sundays. And his Thursday videos are a lot of his travels, goes to different record stores and kind of shows you what he sees, particularly in his area, in the Michigan area. Well, he does a great podcast called Two Guys Talking About Records with Jim Gleason, who is the owner of Radio Wasteland Records in Midland, Michigan. Great podcast. Highly recommend you check it out. I talked to them for Vinyl Community Podcast this year, a few months ago. Great talk, great guys. So recently, Steve was doing a video in Radio Wasteland. He's showing the store. Steve, Jim's there kind of in the corner, hey, what's going on? And Steve starts flipping through records, which is always my favorite part of these videos. And there are some cool stuff in there. I'm going to be honest. And they had a record that really caught my eye. I'm echoing for a reason. I'm echoing for effect. I'm being wary. I got to be honest. This is the last video for 2023. I'm running on empty, folks. But a record that is very hard to find. Very hard to find. And that is Danzig 2, Lucifuge. Now, I have the Danzig 1 record. Got it a couple of years ago. It's actually kind of more common these days than it used to be. Don't ask me why. But Danzig 2, I think it's Danzig 3. These 2 and 3 are like very hard to find. 1 and 4, if I'm not mistaken, kind of see those more out and about and in online areas. But 2 and 3 are rare to come up. Now, what really caught my eye about this was it was in the shrink. Man, I'm a sucker for shrink wrap. So Steve makes this video. I reach out to Jim online. And again, Jim, thanks for coordinating this. We have a back and forth. I ask him about the record, yada, yada. Make a deal. And would you know it? And this is kind of a testimonial to kind of the high quality guy Jim is, Jim Gleason. So he sends me a note and he's like, hey, I pulled the record. I was getting ready to clean it one time in ultrasonic before I shipped it your way, and I noticed there's a scratch on it. Didn't have the scratch when I put it in the bins. Let me check it out, blah, blah, blah. So he checks it out. It plays fine, but it's a visual scratch. So he ends up kicking me some money back. And I think that speaks to Jim's character, and especially as a record store owner. I mean, you didn't have to do that. I didn't expect that. I mean, I probably would have been fine with it as is, but top shelf guy. Highly recommend checking out Radio Wasteland, not just for that, but Jim's good people. Support your locals, and it's these little independent stores that sometimes have the goals that maybe they don't have the biggest online presence, or maybe they don't do social media like some of the other guys. But Radio Wasteland, I can't say anything higher than a high quality guy and Jim Gleason there. And again, Steve's a high quality guy too, so it takes two to tango in that sense. But anyway, more than any of that, so happy to pick up Danzig 2. This record is like super hard to find. I never see this. It's been bootlegged. Maybe it's been reissued. I don't know that for a fact. But the only copies I ever see are boots. And I'm not interested in boots. I mean, boots are things that, I'm not a big bootleg collector, but to me, that's the last resort. If I don't think it's ever going to come out in vinyl, or never, I know you say never, but if I don't expect it to ever come out on vinyl, then I'll find it on boot. So I'm not doing the Danzig 2 boot, but the fact that Jim had this record, the fact that Steve had shown it in the flip video, and the fact I was able to coordinate that all behind the scenes, it was vinyl density. No, I mean vinyl destiny. So Back to the Future joke. Come on, people. Anyway, so happy to pick up Danzig 2, Lucifuge in shrink, daddy.
Why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
And buddies, 2023, that's a wrap. Wrap. That's all I got. Thank you for taking this journey, this continued journey on my channel with me, Concert Buddy. It's been a ride. It's been a ride on the YouTube. It's been a ride on the podcast. It's been a ride on the live streams. It's been a ride. And I hope it continues. We'll see how far this train goes. But I'm having fun. I'm enjoying the interaction. My favorite part, honestly, no shit, no hyperbole, is the interaction and getting to know people in the vinyl community. Because for a long time I was collecting records kind of in a silo, kind of by myself. I'd make some acquaintances here and there and my locals and so forth, but it's kind of like a nomad, like a vinyl vagabond. And through the vinyl community, through YouTube, through networking, through friends of friends, it's just been so much more rewarding than, in a lot of ways, the records I'm actually finding. I'm finding better records than ever through these kind of acquaintances and people. If it's people who don't even have YouTube videos, people I just communicate with on Instagram, or people who only comment in the comment section of these goofy videos, or listen to the podcast, or whatever. Jump on the live stream, Surface Noise live stream. My sincerest thanks for all you guys and all the support you guys have shown me.
I like to be with people who are as fun and adventuresome as well.
Let's have a great 2024 coming up. So, buddies, it's my God, and I'm out. I'm done back-to-back-to-back filming. So I'm going to see you in 2024. Thank you for everything you do. But listen to your records, guys. They need to be listened to. So when you get the chance, just spin it. See you soon.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Well, we out of time.